Well, I want to say welcome to everyone. I'm Kelly Ellison. As I said, I'm with Seedcoach, your fertility financial guidance program, and I want to welcome you here. I'm here with our colleague Ralph Tsong with Tsong Law Group, and we're so excited to have you with us to be talking about really my I hate to say this is kind of nerdy, but my favorite issue and topic, which is helping folks doing a third-party journey with their financial path to completing their journey. So very excited about being able to bring you this program and very excited about working with Ralph and his team at Tsong Law. With that, I am going to turn it over to Ralph. He wants to visit with you with a few things about our partnership. Seedcoach and Tsong Law Group is now offering this financial coaching services to intended parents and to surrogates. And I'm going to let Ralph talk a little bit about what that means for you. Ralph?
Yes. So I wanted to introduce myself to people who might not know who I am. I'm an attorney. I've practiced for 24 years. Can you click?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are I own Tsong Law Group. We're in California. We were founded in 2016, and we are a family formation law firm. It means we specialize in surrogacy, egg donation, embryo donation, sperm donation, and adoption. We're licensed in 6 states. Even though we're in California, I do a lot of cases that are outside of California. The states that are probably we represent the most outside of California are like Washington, Illinois, Arizona. We also have New York and Oklahoma licenses. But we can help with drafting contracts that are out of state. We can't appear in court in any state that the surrogate's in if we're not licensed in that state. A lot of states do accept out-of-state pre-birth orders, so that's also an option. If you're in one of the states that we're licensed in, or you have the IVF centers in that, or if you do the psych evaluation in Washington, that's another way we can get Washington jurisdiction. I think our firm might be one of the best rated law firms in this field. We have 75-star ratings across all the review platforms. And next. I'm a Quad A and ACAL fellow. Those are 2 academies. One is the American Academy of Adoption and Art Attorneys, and the other is the Academy of California Adoption and Assisted Reproduction Lawyers. So those are invitation only. So that means I was accepted by peers in this industry to join those groups. I'm also an ABA Seeds and ASRM member. Those are some other groups that are in the reproductive law area. So I want to talk a little bit about why we signed up with Seedcoach. I got into this field 7 years ago now, when I became an adoptive father. And we had done IVF ourselves. We had done a couple cycles and a couple frozen embryo transfer cycles as well, and those were not successful. But we knew about surrogacy, even though that was quite some time ago, because the staff at the clinic, it seemed like some of the staff at the clinic were surrogates because everyone was pregnant at the clinic. And that's not really a great thing to see when you're a patient there. But we felt that surrogacy was out of reach because I was a government lawyer. I was employed by the state. And even adoption was a stretch. We had to get help from family because it's an expensive process. And so I recognize there's a lot of people where it's a little bit of a stretch to do surrogacy, to do a reproductive journey. And I really applaud people who take that on. Not everybody has like the spare huge cash load that it would take to fund a journey. But a lot of people are motivated. And those people we want to offer this service to. And I met Kelly 7 years ago at a Quad A joint, also with the National Foundation of Adoption. It was at a seminar, and at that time she was just doing my adoption finance coach, or your adoption finance coach. And when I met her at Quad A this year, she told me about how it had expanded to cover surrogacy. So we wanted to sign up for that because we thought that there are people who are, they're starting out on their journey, or maybe they're going independent, or they're reaching us, they're with an agency. They could use some more resources that would help them budget or find some grants or fundraise. And I know the fundraising is a challenging part because I'm not a big self-promoter myself. I don't think I could do that. And I think it'd be really great to have someone to help do that. Okay. We can go to the next slide. So what we're doing is we're offering Seedcoach at no extra cost to our intended parents in surrogacy or egg donation drafting cases. So if you're a current client of ours, you can sign up. If you're considering to become a client, then you can sign up, once you sign up with us. You don't have to have a match yet. You could ask us to review your agency agreement or something like that. But as long as we've signed up, and that will be for the duration of your representation by Tsong Law Group. And it doesn't mean we'll cut you off if it is an out-of-state, surrogate. As long as we've drafted the contract, we would continue. You could continue to use Seedcoach. And not everybody needs to use it, but maybe you could offer it to your surrogate, because Seedcoach also has services for surrogates. So if you don't want to use it yourself, you could provide it to your surrogate. Maybe she could use it. Maybe it will help you find a match, because you could tell people, hey, I've got this benefit you can use if you're my surrogate. So anyway, those are the options. You can just email us. It's at info@tsonglaw.com, or just go to our website. You can always contact us if you want to know more. And that's it for me. You can carry on.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Ralph. Appreciate the introduction. And Ralph is correct. We met quite some time ago, actually, when we were working in the adoption space and kind of discovering the space around third party. And that's one of the ways that we serve the various different providers. So a little bit about myself before we jump into our agenda. I am, first of all, an adoptive parent, similar to Ralph. However, we started the adoption journey in 2007. We brought our daughter home from China, so we did an inter-country adoption. Prior to that, I was in the nonprofit sector for about 25 years. I also have a career in speaking and training, and founded Your Adoption Finance Coach. That was really my first love, my first need to go and take the skills that I had learned in the nonprofit sector around writing grants, around fundraising, financial management. Those kinds of things were really my background. And so when I went through the adoption process myself, I realized nobody was talking about money and didn't want to. So it was, kind of this taboo. So we began to serve adoptive families, and then shortly thereafter began to serve intended parents and, as Ralph said, gestational surrogates, GCs. And then just recently we have launched another program that's called Vesta for Families, which is a corporate program. And so there's kind of a full circle happening here in that we're able to provide to providers, be it through the adoption space or the third party, to their families like yourself who are interested, intended parents who are interested in a journey such as surrogacy or egg donor. And as Ralph said, this is daunting. This is a daunting process. Today we're just going to talk about the money, but over and above the money, the process can be quite complex. And that's why you want folks like Ralph and his team to be able to walk you through that journey and help you with all the various different steps that occur. So we really partner with Ralph and his team to help you. So once you become a client and you start working with Tsong Law, then we come alongside and we're going to help you. And today, what we are going to do is talk about what does that help look like? So how do we hold your hand and kind of take you through that process? What is the program? How does the program work? What is it? We are going to get an opportunity to kind of review some of the funding resources that are available for your journey. And then, of course, we want to let you all know about how you can participate. Finally, I want to just make sure that everybody knows if you have a question, I'm going to pause at certain times and just ask you. So just unmute yourself if you have a question, or if you'd like to use the chat bubble, you can certainly use the chat bubble to type a question in if you'd like to do that. If you would like to reach us, if you'd like to ask us a question, you can use that email that Ralph gave at info@tsonglaw.com. Is that right? Did I get that right, Ralph?
Yeah, and
Okay.
there's a T before the
And
song.
yes, Tsong Law is a TSONG. So there's a silent T there, tsonglaw.com. You can send an email to info@tsonglaw.com. So with that, we're going to jump in and talk a little bit about this. It really is the elephant in the room. We don't like to talk about kids and money. Let's just be real clear about that. It's not something that is something that we want to combine. It's amazing that first of all, it's amazing that it can be so expensive to build your family through third party. And it can be a very, very daunting, as we've already established, very daunting journey to be looking at that kind of money. And it doesn't really matter, as we find with various different families that we work with, it doesn't really matter how much money you make. It can still be a big price tag. And there are lots of moving parts as well in the financial path. So it's very important to understand how to start the process. And one of the things that we're very big on that I'll demonstrate to you today is a real budget that you can really look at and you can create for yourself. One thing that we know about this journey is that there is no one size fits all. It is all highly customized. So when you work with Ralph and his team and you come to work with our team, you're going to find that we're going to be able to really drill down on your finances and be able to help you see various different resources that perhaps are available to you that you may not know about, such as grants and loans and other things. So it really is the elephant in the room. How you want to do it. So the heart says, yes, I want to do it. The mind says, how are we going to do that? How are we going to consume this? So the Seedcoach, the Fertility Financial Guidance Program, is a combination. It's a portal. I'm going to demonstrate that portal to you in a moment, but it's an educational resources and tools. What I mean by that is it's online videos that you can watch. So there's an online video library that's available to you 24/7. 3 o'clock in the morning, if you want to get on there and watch a video about how to put a budget together or how to write a grant or anything, it's your choice. The tools that are available are all downloadable templates, for example, that are available for you. Our experienced coaches. So whenever I am bringing a coach on, as a matter of fact, I just brought on a coach. I'm so excited about her. Her name is Chelsea. And Chelsea was a gestational carrier. She was a GC 2 times in a row. And so I love having the coaches, our coaches that are touched through the adoption triad, touched through as being intended parents or going through the process in one way or another. I can teach the financial side of things, but when I know that someone has had the experience themselves, I know that they bring that empathy to the table, and that's very, very important. The other thing that we do is we do on a pretty regular basis, we do live webinars that are topical. So we'll put out a live webinar for you to talk about grants for your journey. A couple of times last year, we had a panel that brought in some experts from the foundation world around third party, to help intended parents to really understand what are the components of putting together a successful grant application that you might be able to get a grant for your journey. We also kind of cherry pick a little bit from the curriculum that we have. So talking about the budget, talking about various different things. This is available, so you can access the Seedcoach Fertility Financial Guidance Program through the Tsong Law Group homepage. Okay, and that's why I'm starting here. Simply what you do is you click on from the Tsong Law Group. When you go on here, I'm not live at this moment, but when you go on here and it's a pull down menu, I'll show it to you in a moment, from services, and it says financial guidance. And so when you click on that, you'll be able to go to, this is our portal for Seedcoach. And you can see that this is a page that you can just go to and read about it. I'm going to pop over and I'm going to go live really quick. So you can see, bear with me just a second. That's not live. That's live. Okay, here it is. Excuse me. So here is, this is the family building financial guidance. So we are on songlaw.com and we go to services and then we click on family.
Kelly, I think you're sharing the wrong window.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't. You know what's so funny? Thank you, Ralph. Zoom is so funny because if you don't click on each time that you're sharing your screen, it won't let you share your screen. Okay, here we go. We're gonna try that again. So here's Tsong Law, and then we go to services. Everybody can see this, right, Ralph? Go to services and then family building financial guidance. And when you click on that, you're going to see this particular page. And on this page, this talks about Seedcoach. And right here, if you're looking for financial guidance in your surrogacy journey, and that also includes egg donation. So if you're looking for guidance in that, on that third-party journey, then you're going to click right here. And when you do that, you're going to go to this particular website. This is the portal. This is our portal. Now, you do have to sign up for this. I'm going to demonstrate it to you as if I am a member. And so I'm going to show you the kind of the client experience, if you will. But you do have to sign up for this. And when you sign up for it, these videos that I'm going to show you, or the bank of videos that I'm showing you, are not available to the public. This is information that is only available to folks who have already signed up or made a contract with Tsong Law. So this is not something that somebody can just get if they're not associated. Here is the information about our coaches and about us. So you get, as I said, unlimited access to the on-demand library. It includes all the templates for downloading and printing. You can tell what generation I'm in, right, from printing. So live webinars with special guests. We talked a little bit about that. Ask the coach. You can email the coach. coach@yourseedcoach.com is our address and our email address. You can email us anytime. We're going to bring to the table fundraising expertise. We also have knowledge about the crowdfunding sites. And, you know, overall, we understand and recognize that this journey has a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress, and we recognize that. And so we're here to serve your needs. We're here to help you understand step by step how you're going to get to your end goal, which is bringing your family together. So it's on your timeline, and you'll see as we talk a little bit about this, you'll see that we have in our budgeting materials, not only are we coming up with a budget, but we're also creating a timeline for you. So for example, by the time you have a match for a surrogate, by that time, you should have a pretty good plan for how you're going to put your money together. That might mean that you're going to apply for certain grants. It might mean that you are going to get a loan for this. It might mean all of the above, that you're going to set up a separate account. You'd be surprised if you go out on GoFundMe, how many folks are doing fundraising. Now, I know that doesn't appeal to everyone. Our program is not, we don't have a prescription for you have to do this certain number of things in order to get to your end goal. Our program is very customized. It's very personal. We have families that do not want to do any fundraising at all. We have families that don't want to talk about it until it's over. We have other families that are just, thrilled to go out there and put the information out on a social site or a crowdfunding site and do the best they can. And we can give you guidance about what's right for you as well. As I said, most of our coaches come from the space of the nonprofit sector. I'm going to point out right here, here's our email, coach@yourseedcoach.com. So if you have a question after this webinar, you can reach out to Ralph at info@tsonglaw.com, or you can reach out to us at coach@yourseedcoach.com. So when you get to this site, again, overview about us. This page here is a public page. About us is a public page that we have. And then here, by the way, are the coaches. That's myself, but we also have other coaches that are on there. And then getting started is going to be intended parents and surrogates. Now, as Ralph said, we've kind of served both. So if you are an intended parent, then you're going to click in this category. If you're a surrogate, obviously you're going to click in this category. I will say to you that the two do not coexist. What that means is that if you are in this and you're an intended parent and you've offered this to your surrogate, they're going to have a separate login. They do not have access as a surrogate to the intended parent. So they're not going to see any of your information. They're going to see any of the intended parent information at all, and vice versa. So lane, if you will. So for surrogate, you only have access to the surrogate videos. If you are an intended parent, you only have access to the intended parent videos. We just do it that way because for just a matter of professionalism and just kind of separating the two. So let's take a look at the intended parents. So this gives you an idea about what some of the topics are that are available as an intended parent. Okay, so budgeting, we're just going to take a look. Budgeting for your third-party journey. I'm not going to start these videos because I'll tell you my experience with Zoom is that the sound is not right. It's just not a good thing. But I am going to show you, I think it's interesting. I'm going to show you, this is budgeting for your third-party journey. So reviewing your agency budget. So that's one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to review the agency budget. I'm going to go ahead and download this because I want to show everybody. This is pretty comprehensive. I really want to show you how comprehensive this is. Just a second here. So we'll take a look at the budgets. Identifying your targets and timelines. So you remember we talked about the timeline. So it's not as much about how much do I need to pay, which is important, obviously, but it's also about what are the timelines and when do I need to get that paid for? Funding your escrow, doing all those things that you need to do. It's, as I said, a lot of plates that are spinning. So I'm going to show you this really quickly. I'm not going to go through this, but I'm going to just show you this really quickly. Ralph, tell me, I'm going to open up this Excel document. Am I sharing that right now?
Oh.
Yes?
No.
Okay. I'm going to have to close it and open it again. Here we go. Don't you love Zoom? There we go. How's that?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So don't let this, I'm not sharing this for your minds to go poof. I'm sharing this for you just to understand how really comprehensive this program is and how confusing. So you start out with a projected budget. This is a sample of a projected budget for surrogacy. If you're doing an egg donor projected budget, that's here. Then there's a summary, but the thing I really want to show you is this targets and timelines. So this is revenue targets and timelines that you have. So what we are really doing is we're taking the summary document and we're looking at what our total estimated journey is. And then based on that, we're looking at what are our target revenues and timelines. So you want to look at, this is where it gets to the resources, folks, in terms of what is available to you. So certainly your own personal savings. We recommend that you set aside money for this journey. Any family gifts that you might have are very, very important to understand. There are people in your family that want to help you. There is a gift tax rule that you can take advantage of. You may or may not be familiar with it, but you can receive up to $15,000 in cash gifts without claiming it on your taxes. Nothing that other person has to do, nothing you have to do. Both people in your family, you and your partner can each receive up to $15,000 in cash gifts and not claim that on your taxes. So that's a gift tax rule. It has nothing to do with surrogacy. Loans, there's certainly plenty of loan companies that are out there, lending companies out there that can help. There's an organization out there that's called My Egg Fund. They're kind of like a lending tree, if you will. Lending tree is similar. If you've been on that site, you put your information out there, and then they kind of have a search bot, if you will, and they go out and search what the best options are for you and give you back various different offers. That's sort of similar to My Egg Fund, but they are targeted for intended parents and also adoptive parents. The grants are also something that's important. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Fundraising, if you're open to that, special events, and then employer reimbursements. I spoke a moment ago about our other company that we have that is called Seedcoach. No, pardon me, that is called I can't do three things. There we go. Am I sharing the site back again, Ralph?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thanks for being my helper in that regard. I shared with you one of our other companies that we have that's called Vesta for Families. We actually offer and help corporations to create family building benefits. So you would be surprised how many companies provide a family building benefit. Insurance, of course, provides benefits for IVF. But we see a large number of corporations that are adding adoption, surrogacy, and egg donor to their benefit package, which means that in many cases there is a reimbursement that's involved, there's time off that's involved. That is over and above if they're offering a medical benefit that covers IVF and all the clinical side of things. So what I'm showing you is just kind of some basic information about how you put your plan together. That document that I just showed you was about understanding what the total cost of the journey is, but then also understanding where are you going to get that money? Does your employer provide a benefit? Are you going to save money? Are you going to apply for grants? Are you going to do fundraising? Are you going to do loans? Are you going to do all of the above? And that's kind of what we are working on. And we're doing this important work for you while you are working with Ralph and his team to go through the various different steps. I'm going to go down here for a moment to the grants and loans. Before I get into that, though, I want to just pause because I've done a lot of talking. I want to see if anybody has any questions for me at all. Turn your mute buttons off, folks, and talk with me and let me know if you have any questions. Anyone have questions?
I'm not sure they can, but they can use the Q&A and raise their hand.
Yeah, do you want to
Muted.
try that? I'm going to have to stop. Let's see. Anybody have a question in the Q&A? You can put that in there. And then there's the chat box as well. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. And I'm going to go back to sharing here, but we'll keep an eye on that to see if you have any questions about this. So talking a little bit about grants and loans. One of the things that we do when we work with a family as it relates to grants and loans for your third party journey is to help you to understand kind of this space. For third party, there's I don't want to say that there are a lot of grants and loans. There are a lot of grants, pardon me. There's several loans, but there's not very many grants or foundations. There's a fair number of them. We are starting to see them pop up more and more. But there is not a large number of foundations. So one of the things that our coaches are going to help you do is to identify how much money based on your budget, based on how much money you need. We're going to be able to help determine how much money are you looking for grants, what's realistic, and then you can research the various different foundations. I'm not going to download this for you and let you look at it. It's too big of a document, but right here you'll see Seedcoach Grants and Loans Template. And this is a downloadable document of all of the foundations and all of the loans and medical loans, by the way, that are available in your third-party journey. So you can click on, you can download that, you can look at what are their deadlines, what do they expect, how do you make an application. Our coaches can help you with that application. One of the things that people miss is their story. When we did the panel last year for the foundation experts or foundation executives, one of the things they talked about was story. Story, how you tell your story, why is this what's the compelling reason for why you're doing what you're doing, how you're building your family in this way, and why should they give you a grant? Grants are highly competitive, more competitive in the third party space because there are fewer foundations, so it makes it more competitive. The other thing that we see around foundations and grants for third party is that we see that a lot of them are less about giving grants on the front end of your journey, more about giving grants on the back end of the journey. The surrogacy third-party journeys are such long journeys and have, they're expensive, as we've already established. So they don't want, what we find are the foundations don't necessarily want to be on the front end because they want to make sure that you're going to be able to complete your journey. It's very important to be able to articulate your plan. What is your plan? What's your financial plan for how you are going to fund this journey? We're going to, we have an employer benefit. We're going to take out this loan. This is the total cost. So you can understand there's a method to our madness, if you will. There's a reason why we have you put together the budget and have you put together the timeline, because should you decide that you are going to be doing a grant, we want you to be able to articulate that in your story and in your grant application so that you can be identified and have a higher success rating of getting a grant. So I can see that I have a few questions. So I'm just gonna let you guys soak that in for just a minute. I realize that this is very complex. I mean, I think I started the webinar out by saying this is a complex subject. Not everyone is doing this, and so it's very important to understand that we can really help walk you through this process and give you some expectations. Let's see, I may have missed this, but this is an added benefit, or what is the cost? Be a little bit more specific for me, an added benefit. What is the cost? Oh, you're talking about Seedcoach. Pardon me, Susanna. This is an added benefit to working with Tsong Law. So if you're working with Tsong Law, this is a benefit of value that comes to you, and there is no cost to you. So we covered that in the very front end. So as Ralph said, you do not need to pay for this. This is something that's included in his services to you. So when you start to work with Ralph, he puts you into the program. I hope that answered your question. If not, just give me some more information there. The second question, what if I've already taken out a private loan or paid with a credit card? Can I still apply for grants? The answer to that is it depends upon the foundation. Some foundations will not reimburse you for funds that have already been paid. Okay. Other foundations will. So our team would want to get together with you and talk about, what you've done and look at the various different foundations and help you to perhaps apply to the ones that will reimburse you for funds that have already been paid. Most of them will, but there are a few of them that will not. So that's a good question. I appreciate you asking that question. Okay, we're going to move on. Hopefully we've answered that. So Can't say enough about how important it is to make sure we have a whole video here on best practices for grant writing. Can't say enough how important it is to make sure that you're following the guidelines of the foundation, that you're also reading the restrictions of the foundation. There are a couple of foundations out there, one in particular that comes to mind, that they don't want you to get a grant from anyone else. They only want you to get a grant from them. They don't want you to get a grant from any of the other foundations. So very careful. They're sizable grants. Some of them are $10,000, $20,000. Again, it's coming along on the tail end of the journey. So they want to, quote, help you finish the journey. Okay, that's what they want to do. But they don't want you to have grants from other organizations. There may or may not be a reason for that. It just is what it is. But our team can help you to kind of identify some of those guidelines and restrictions if you want to apply to them or if you do not. Loans and other resources. There are, as we said, many loans that are available. And so you can look at that. There's a couple of things, for example, that you may not have thought about. There is you can borrow against your 401k, a retirement plan when it is available to you by your employer. We see a lot of families that do that, borrow against their funds. We're not saying disburse, we're saying borrow. It's a pretty low interest rate loan and something that's easily manageable. Okay. So those are some of the topics that we have in intended parents from just budgeting. We also talk about insurance. We're not insurance specialists or brokers, but insurance is, when you start getting into this, you start to see that there are fixed costs and variable costs, and insurance is one of the variable costs that you have, but you always have it. So it's something that we talk a little bit about. And then, of course, fundraising and special events. If we go over, as Ralph said, this is also something that you can make available to your surrogate as a way of just kind of giving them a benefit. Here's what we find with surrogates. Sometimes they'll come in and they will do a journey. And we appreciate that, this is such a wonderful gift that they're giving, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to connect with the intended parents. But we also know that sometimes they don't have a plan, they don't create a plan, and so we can help the surrogate understand their compensation and timeline. That's a really, really important part of their journey. Also, setting financial goals. Do they have goals for the funds that they might be receiving as part of their compensation? What are their goals? Some surrogates might come in with some debt or be interested in saving and investing or understanding their credit, whatever the case might be. You can see some of the topics that are here, setting up a household budget or emergency fund. We work with surrogates who are interested in setting up money for college or paying off college loans. So there's a lot of different reasons. And one of the things that we can do is to help surrogates to kind of manage those funds. So, and also the timing of those funds. We find that a lot of surrogates don't really understand the timing of those funds. So that's very important as well. So I'm going to pause again and see if we have any more questions. It doesn't look like it in the chat, in the Q&A. Ralph, anything that you would add based on any of the comments that we've made about the curriculum or budgeting, anything that you would add?
So the spreadsheet that you showed, that you help complete that. It's not, they have to complete it themselves, right?
That's right. We will help you complete that. Once you talk to your coach, so kind of the process looks like this. You would sign up, you get connected to the coach. And then once you have your first appointment with the coach, and if you have your budgets, then you can send those to the coach and we can help you put those numbers into that budget. It's really not that complicated. The budgets are all tied together. So you're really just putting those frontline numbers into the budget. And then we like to also personalize that. So we send that back and forth and work with the client in finishing those budgets. Yeah, good question. No, thanks, Ralph.
And the spreadsheet, the functions are automated, right? So you put
Yes, they
one
are.
thing in, yes.
Yes, they are. They are. Real proud of that. I can't take credit for it because I'm not an Excel person. It was not me who put those together. It was somebody who was exponentially smarter than I am putting those together. Great, great comment though. Thank you. So we're going to go back to the presentation here. Let's see, here we go. There we go. So as we talked about, one of the ways that you can participate in this program is to notify Ralph and his team at Tsong Law. Again, that email is info@tsonglaw.com, and they will enroll you in the program. And once you are enrolled in the program, then you receive a welcome email with your login credentials and your password. And again, the intended parents have one login, the gestational carriers have another login. At that time, then you're going to receive a welcome from your coach, and then you'll receive an intake form, and you'll complete that intake form and schedule your first call with your coach. I think I said that we are, Ralph, you're seeing the slide that I'm showing, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. Okay, I just want to make sure. I looked at it and I was like, okay, I've just said all that and you couldn't see it. So that's kind of the process. And then once you start working with your coach, we don't limit your time with the coach. You can spend as much time as you want with your coach and start the process. And we know that overall, this can just be so overwhelming. The whole process can be so overwhelming. As we said, paperwork, politics, and finances. So it can be very, very overwhelming process, and we are here to help you with your journey. There's lots of twists and turns in a third-party journey. And I just love the combination of working with Ralph and his team, working with our coaches, helping you not only for the process and doing the heavy lifting, which is what Ralph is doing, but helping you come alongside and do the financial path is very good. And I know that you'll feel very good about just knowing what's ahead. And more importantly, about how you're going to finish that journey and really focus on envisioning your future family, rather than worrying about all the various different steps. So with that, I am going to say thank you. And Ralph, I want to thank you for your time in hosting this and partnering with us. I'll see if we have any other final questions. And anyone have any other questions that we might answer today? Okay. Any other final thoughts, Ralph?
No, but we hope that if you're an agency as well, you can also think about maybe there are some intended parents that they're trying to sign up for you, and you know that they need to budget for it, and they're the type of intended parent that will come back to you in a year or something like that, but they just, you know, they can't sign up right now. Then maybe you could refer them to us and we can sign them up for, you know, contract drafting in the future, and then they can sign up with Seedcoach and you can help them that way.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, thank you all so much. And we will say good afternoon to you. And if you need to reach out to us, it's coach@yourseedcoach.com. I'm Kelly Ellison, your seed coach. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Take care.
Thank you, guys.